Hello everyone and welcome back to Mel's Quirky Corner, the YouTube edition. Today we are going to be changing these into these. So what you are going to need is some trauma shears. I got these off Amazon. I will put all the information in the comments. You are going to need either a sanding paper or a sanding block. I got these from the dollar store. They work super well, they last a while, and it's only $1, so when I throw them away I don't feel as bad. You're also going to need 91% isopropyl alcohol so that you can clean them off after you sand them. You're going to need glitter. I am using a few different types today, and then you also will need either resin, Mod Podge, or a tacky glue. I will be using all three today to show you the different ways that you can do it, and then a way to spin them. So I am just going to be using my cup turner along with this and some rubber bands. So let's go ahead and get into it. So I am going to take my trauma shears, be very careful because these babies are sharp, and my sanding block, and I am going to give it a good sanding. Make sure that you get into all the crevices. This will help the resin, the Mod Podge, and everything else stick better. Doesn't take a long time because you don't want to take the color off or anything. You just need to make sure that it has some pores to it and it's not super soft. Be very, very careful that you don't cut yourself. Not that I have or anything, but if I had, I would tell you that it was very sharp. I like these sanding blocks because you can really just get in there. And then you should be looking a little bit like this. So I'm going to go ahead and sand the rest of them and I'll be right back. Now that we have them all sanded, we are going to take our alcohol. I have mine in a little spray bottle. It makes it a lot easier. We're just going to go ahead and spray these down and wipe them off. And once you wipe them off, you want to put them on a clean surface. So I just have a paper towel that we are going to set them just to keep them nice and clean. So I'll do that. I'll be right back. Okay, so now those are clean, so now let's go ahead and get everything all mixed up. So I am going to be doing this several different ways, like I said. First way we are going to be showing is with Mod Podge. So I'm just going to pour a little bit of my Mod Podge. This is in a gloss, but it doesn't really matter what kind you use. We are also going to be using the tacky glue. This is Turbo Tacky, in case you were wondering. Also does not matter what kind you use. About ready to order some more supplies because I'm running a little bit low. And then we are also going to mix up some of our resin. So now that those are all cleaned up, let's go ahead and pour, so if you have Mod Podge, you can pour your Mod Podge. If you're using the tacky glue, pour that. Or if you're using resin, go ahead and mix up your resin. I am going to be using my Art and Glow, which there will be a referral code in the comments, and I am going to mix up about 10 milliliters. So 10 of part A, 10 of part B. And now that everything's mixed up, let's go ahead and make it pretty. So I have 6 pairs over here, so we're gonna do 2 with the Mod Podge, 2 with the tacky glue, and then 2 with the resin. So let's go ahead and start with the tacky glue. So let's go ahead and we're gonna take my green one here. Move you guys to where you can see, and as you can tell, I have all of my glitter. So I have a paper towel along with some paper so that the paper can catch any of the glitter that gets spilled. And we're going to go ahead and start. So this is, again, starting with our tacky glue. I am just using one of the paintbrushes that I have from, I'm sure, a previous project, and we're just going to go ahead, and it's okay if you get a little bit on the metal part because we're going to clean these up anyway, so ensure that you get all in the crevices. Make sure that there is nothing still showing that does not have any glue on it. You also want to make sure that you get a thin coat and no bubbles or anything like that. You want the glitter to lay down very nice for you. Make sure you get inside that handle really good. Another option, if you don't want to have to clean up the metal part, is you can always tape that off as well. We're going to do both sides here. You could also probably use your hands if you wanted to spread it out, but I prefer a brush. You want a nice coat, but you also don't want it too thick, so just a nice thin coat on there where everything is covered with the glue. Okay, and so it should look a little bit like this. So we're going to go ahead and not try to spill that. So we're going to go in, this is a mix from one of the tumblers that I did. So you're just going to go ahead and pour it on there. Then do it to the other side. Make sure that you're getting inside that handle. All little crevices. Then when you flip them back over, make sure there's nothing that's still exposed. Another way to do this is just go ahead and put it right on in the glitter there. Okay. And we are going to distribute this glitter back into our nice cup there. And I always like to go over it a second time after I put it in the glitter, just to make sure I didn't miss anything. Make sure that everything is covered well. Then you want to tap off any excess. And there you go. And what I am going to do is, because I have some resin already made, I'm going to go ahead and as we go through these, just add some resin to it. So, just going to do it right on this cup, or right on this piece of paper. And what I'm going to do is do kind of a overflow here. Just get it all over there. Do it on the other side as well. And we're going to leave it like that. I'm totally kidding. I saw an opportunity and I took it. Okay. Then we're going to go and just lightly tap, because if you swirl, all of that glitter is going to come off. So you're going to lightly tap it, get all that resin on there. Because we use the fast set Tacky glue, it dried very, very quickly. What I'm going to do, so you have all of this covered with resin. It's looking very nice. Make sure that you get the inside of it, of the handle. Outside, crevices, all of the above. Okay, so now that it's like this, I am going to take one of my gloves off. I am going to put it right on here with one of my rubber bands. And this is just one of the foam turners from one of my cut turners. Just gonna put this rubber band on, make sure that it's good and tight. And then I am going to let this start spinning as we work on the rest of them. So I will be right back. Okay, so the next kind that we are going to So we're going to do the exact same thing. For these colors, I'm going to use a nice orange that I have. I also changed my gloves so that I don't get any green on the yellow. Also, you don't have to do the same color glitter as the sheer. It's completely your choice. I'm just doing with what I had left over from other things that other projects. That's what I was looking for. We're gonna do the same thing. And if you did not want to resin it immediately, you could just let it spin for a little bit with the glitter on it and let it dry for a little bit. What I've noticed is with the fast set tack, it dries really, really quickly. You could also do the Tack It method with the holographic glitter if you wanted to. This is really whatever you want to do that you enjoy. So I'm gonna use some of this orange, beautiful orange. Also, these were custom mixes from different cups that I had done, so I cannot tell you what glitters are in here. I get all of my glitter from It's Pretty Personal, so I'm sure it's a mix of some of the glitters I got from there. I'm gonna do the same thing. Also, with those chunky glitters, this is a lot like your cups. You want to make sure that you're pressing that glitter down so that it's a lot easier when you start to seal it. Do a little swirly swirl. Tap off any excess. And we're just going to tap this down here. Chunky glitters are so beautiful, but they can be such a pain to make sure that they're tapped in so that you don't have things sticking out when you try to get it all nice and smooth. And we took a little bit of glitter off when we tapped it down, so I'm going to do just one more. Okay. And again, I'm going to do the same thing of adding the resin because this is dry. So this is where you can either do that, or if you want to let it spin for a little bit, you can do that as well. So I will be right back. Next, let's go ahead and do our resin ones. Seeing as the resin has been out for a little bit, I want to ensure that I have plenty of time to work. So I have already changed my gloves. So we're just going to use our little stick here. Don't know why I didn't think about the stick before I put it on the paper, but that is okay. Just start kind of a base. The resin ones, you have to be a little bit more careful if you're not using the UV resin. As you all know, if you use resin, that it can be kind of hard to work with. Also, if you have like a squirt bottle or something, that may, not a squirt bottle, but a bottle with a nozzle, it may help a little bit. And so we're gonna do this. Okay. finger into it, make sure that you have a thin layer of the resin. This is a lot like any of the other methods. You just want to make sure it's a thin layer, that you don't have any spots that are missing any resin, and that it's not too thick. Also really get into the ridges on the handle inside to make sure that you're not missing any areas in there. And again, if you want to, you can always use tape or something to block off the metal part so that you don't get any on the metal part. I just did not do that. Okay, so for this one, we're going to do a nice purple. This one's a little bit different because I don't want to put the resin right in, or the handle with the resin right into the glitter, so I'm just going to dump that out. Do this one more time. Also, be sure that you are not shutting the scissors, because if you do shut them as they twirl, they are going to be stuck that way. And we have this. So I am going to go put this on this guy here. Just be very careful as you're doing this that you do not mess up your beautiful work. And I have found that rubber bands are the easiest way to keep these adhered, in my personal opinion. Please don't come at me if that's not how you like to do it. If you have UV resin, this would be the time that you would cure it. Okay, so we're gonna let this spin while we do the rest. I'll be right back. Okay, and this is gonna be our next resin one. And actually our last resin one, and the last one is Mod Podge. So we're just gonna repeat the steps that we did on the previous one. Make sure you have new gloves so you're not contaminating colors or anything. Also, if you're working with resin, please ensure that you are using the proper personal protection equipment and that you are staying safe. If you are supposed to be in a well-ventilated area, that's what the directions say. Please be in a well-ventilated area. I use Art and Glow resin, which has no odor. It is FDA compliant, food grade, safe resin. And so I am using the required personal protection equipment that is required for my resin. Resin can be very, very dangerous, so please ensure whatever you are using that you are being safe. So this one, we are going to do a nice little black into rose gold ombre, I feel. So do an ombre, we're going to tilt this to about a 45-degree angle. Let that fall. Ombres with handles, as anybody knows, can be a pain in the butt, but I also think this can be very pretty. Again, this is a glitter mix that I had made for a tumbler, so I have no idea what exactly it is. I'm going a little adventurous here. You do not have to do an ombre or anything like that. You can do single colors, you can do 19 colors. It is completely whatever you want to do, or whatever the customer wants you to do. I'm going to go back over this with the black just real quick to make sure that we have everything on there. And what I will do for all of these is I'm going to let them spin overnight, and then tomorrow I will hit them with some more resin and let them sit again for another 24 hours. And I will sand them if they need sanding. Can't really see this in the light, but I will sand them if they need sanding to make sure that they're nice and smooth. And otherwise, they just get to cure and be beautiful. So let me go put these on the spinner and I will be right back. And we'll do the Mod Podge ones. And the last type that we are going to do are the Mod Podge. And the Mod Podge are a little bit different because they take longer to dry and you have to do 2 coats to get the same effect as the tacky glue or the resin. So I am just going to go get my Mod Podge. We're just going to do the same thing of brush it on. And what I'll do is I do 1 coat with the glitter, and then I let it dry for about 4 hours, and then I'll do another coat with glitter, and then I will resin over top of it so that I get that same shiny effect. And I will sand if needed, but we are going to do, I'm not sure what colors we have, but if it's a chunky glitter, then I will sand it. Otherwise, if it's a fine glitter, it doesn't usually need sanding. And as I was saying earlier, what I'll do to those other ones that we made is tomorrow I will do 1 coat of resin, or I will, if I have to sand it, I will sand it, use some alcohol, and then I will seal them with the resin. And then we will clean them up and they are ready to go. I will not be making a part 2 to this because we do have some finished product, so I will just show you guys the finished product that we have. So we've already made a pink, so let's do, actually we have not made a pink, and pink's pretty popular, so let's go ahead. And you'll be able to see what I mean with the Mod Podge once I show you. How it takes more to get the same effect. So this is with 1 coat of the Mod Podge and glitter. So you can see that there's still some spots that you can see that there's glitter on them, but it doesn't have that same blingy effect that the tacky glue or the resin had. And even if I hit it one more time with this, so it's just better to do multiple coats of the Mod Podge, but I also don't want to disrupt where the glitter sets now. So for these, I just set them on my desk where they are uninterrupted, where the tops of them are hanging off, so that they can just dry in peace. And I just noticed that where I usually set them, I cannot set them, so sometimes you might have to put something on top of them because they are a little bit heavier. So I just set a candle on top of them so that they have a place to be. Then our last one is this orange, so I think that we are going to do, and pardon me, sorry about that, a friend butt dialed me. Let's go ahead and do a little black stripe with some orange for a little bit of Halloween. And like I said, you can have so much fun with these. Whatever you feel, somebody will like them. And if not, at least you like them. Do a little black, a little bit. Well, okay then. So that just happened. If you have not spilled an entire container of glitter, are you really even a crafter or a small business? Because I feel like that happens at least once a week. I don't even know how much glitter I've lost because of doing that. That will make an excellent blooper on the TikTok though. Also, if you do not follow me on the TikTok and you have TikTok, you should follow me at Mel's Quirky Corner. I'm pretty funny sometimes. I also feel like Mod Podge does not pick up the chunkier glitters very well. And so I think that's part of having to redo multiple coats and things. So we're going to let these sit overnight and I will show you some of the finished products of what I have. We'll set this right there. And so here are some of the finished ones that I have made. These ones still need to be cleaned up, but I got that piece stuck to it. But I want to thank you all so very much for tuning in to Mel's Quirky Corner, the YouTube edition. If you have any comments, questions, and or concerns, please don't hesitate to drop it in the comments. And I look forward to the next tutorial. Let me know in the comments what you want to see next. So much love.